We passed, as Jim mentioned, transportation reform, the most sweeping transportation reform in 50 years. Listen, we have a tough economic environment. We've got to be smart. We've got to consolidate. We've got to show that we're good fiscal stewards with the people's money, and that's why collapsing the turnpike with Mass Highway was important, because we've got to deliver our transportation in a more economical way. Yes, it's involved some tough decisions, but there aren't any easy decisions. And I just ask you to remember this is, what we inherited, and I go back to the point of being honest with people and generational responsibility. Governor Patrick and I took over, and part of the problem that we're all dealing with is we've got an MBTA that serves 73% of all the Massachusetts population and communities. When we took over, 30 cents on the dollar at the MBTA was going to pay debt service, the highest debt service of any transportation agency in the country. The turnpike factor principal and interest about $3 billion in debt. So people weren't being honest. They buried the costs and said, let someone else pay for it. And so right now, another example in Mass Highway Department. In 2002, 20% of the almost 2,000 employees at the Mass Highway Department, in 2002, 20% of those employees' salaries and benefits were paid for on the capital budget. When Governor Patrick and I took over in 2006, 80% of the 2,000 employees at Mass Highway were paid for in the capital budget.
Explain what that is.
And so what that means is we're paying 80% of the employees' salaries and benefits on a credit card, principal and interest. So you have one of those employees mow the lawn. John, how old are you, John? 17. John's paying the principal and interest on that until he's 37.
Light them off then.
So, so I don't know if that was something Governor Romney learned at Bain Capital, but that's not good fiscal stewardship, and that's not good management principles. So we're trying to be honest with people that we need to engage on a pay-as-you-go approach, and that involves cuts and consolidation, and yes, some revenue, but we're also trying to show that we can deliver it smarter and better. And when you have a pay-as-you-go approach, that money that we're paying principal and interest on, that money can go back into what it was intended for, capital. And when you're paying, these types of, when you have when you engage in a pay-as-you-go approach, you also can do things like ordinary maintenance. And probably few people drive around the state more than I do. And I could probably count on my hands a number of bridges that actually don't need a paint job. And so we have not been engaging in such things as ordinary maintenance, which is why one of those bond bills that we passed was the accelerated bridge program, because we've got almost 550 structurally deficient bridges across the state, some in very serious condition, others on the path to being a public safety problem. And we all know what happened out in Minnesota a few years ago, and we all know what happens when a bridge is shut down in an important section of a city or town, the disruption that it causes in terms of quality of life and economic development. So it's investing in these things. And I go into mind-numbing detail on this because I know it's the type of stuff, it's not going to be at the front page of the newspaper, it's not going to lead at 6, and certainly they're not going to talk about this for hours on certain talk show call lines, but it's important. It puts people to work, it's reinvesting in our economy, and it's important in terms of where people can live and work, and it's something, if the longer we wait, the more we pay. And then we had the transportation, ethics, pension as well. So there's a lot of things I think that have gotten done that are important for a lot of different reasons, and are what I call the blocking and tackling of government.